Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Chairman Inhofe and Ranking Member Boxer and all the members of this committee for the opportunity to testify on the impacts of more stringent ozone standards. I would also like to thank Leader McConnell. What a pleasant surprise. I was not expecting that. I am Gary Moore, the elected Judge-Executive of Boone County, Kentucky, and here today representing the National Association of Regional Councils, NARC, and the National Association of Counties, NACO. Boone County is a suburban county in the Cincinnati metropolitan region. Throughout my region, I hear concerns about the impact of tighter ozone standards and what they would have on local governments and the economy. Similar concerns have been echoed nationally by regions and counties of all sizes. My region is currently classified in marginal non-attainment, but we would be in full non-attainment and face additional requirements under the proposed rule. Non-attainment designations impact the economic vitality of local governments, regions, and the nation. Areas across the nation face significant challenges under the current ozone standard. NARC and NACO, along with the U.S. Conference of Mayors and the National League of Cities, have requested that EPA fully implement the current ozone standard before issuing a new, more stringent standard. Today, I will discuss several on-the-ground impacts of more stringent ozone standards on regions and counties nationwide. First, local and regional governments play a significant role in protecting local air resources, ensuring a strong transportation system, and strengthening the local economic development efforts. Counties and local governments own a large portion of the nation's public road system. My county alone owns more than 400 public road miles. Many transportation projects would have to be reconsidered if the ozone standard were tightened. Additionally, areas designated as non-attainment can have a more difficult time in attracting and keeping industries due to the concerns that air permits and other approvals will be too expensive and even impossible to obtain. Second, a more stringent ozone standard would create unfunded mandates for state and local governments. EPA estimates that hundreds of counties would be impacted by the new ozone standard. A more stringent standard would be especially difficult for rural counties and small metropolitan areas, many of which have not previously been subject to non-attainment designations. Very limited federal funding is available to help these regions and counties comply with air quality standards. Additionally, the federal government can withhold federal highway funds for projects and plans in non-attainment areas, which would negatively impact job creation and economic development for these impacted regions. In 2008, EPA issued the existing 75 parts per billion ozone standard. In 2010, a more stringent standard was proposed, but EPA later withdrew it over concerns about resulting regulatory burdens and uncertainty. During this period, however, implementation of the 2008 standard was effectively halted. That process was recently restarted, and in February of this year, just a few months ago, my county received the implementation guidelines for the 2008 standard. Now here we are again discussing a new standard before we know what the current standard is, whether the current standard is working. This process has created confusion in regions and counties and about where they stand under the current standard, which is crucial to gauging the effects of an even more stringent standard. And due to 2014 court decisions, two separate ozone standards must be met as part of the transportation conformity process. A stricter ozone standard will only complicate matters further. In conclusion, the health and well-being of our residents is a top priority for regions and counties. We urge that EPA fully implement the current ozone standard before issuing a new, more stringent standard. We look forward to working with members of this committee and the EPA to craft policies and protect public health without inhibiting the economic vitality of our communities. Thank you again for the opportunity, and I'm pleased to address any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Moore, for the excellent statement. Dr. Diet.